today we're going to do expressions. So first we're going to start off with our first one, the quotient of 3 more than a number and 5. First thing you want to do is mark your keywords. Quotient, more than. And you even want to mark the word and, because that's important. Quotient means divide, so mark up there divide. More than means add, and will mean that you're separating this quantity to this number. So the quotient of 3 more than and 5. Quotient has to do with the separation of this and 5. So it means that we need to take this piece first and divide it by 5. So let's break down the first piece. 3 more than a number. Now start off with 3. More than is plus, let me mark that. A number can be any letter you want. I will be choosing X. We said quotient. Quotient will go with and. So we're going to put divide. Then we're going to put the number 5. And that will be your answer. All right, let's do the reverse in number 2. A number, when we're looking at this, x minus 4 over 5. Well, we know, number 1, minus. Next thing you notice that this means divide. Anytime you see like a fraction bar, that is a symbol for divide. These problems are exactly similar to each other. So we're going to start with x. Instead of saying x, we're going to write down a number. Then we're going to do the sign minus our number 4. Now, if you look up here, we use the quotient. So we want to add in the quotient up. So I'm going to add that in. We were translating just fine up here, but we want to make sure we put the quotient because we want to put the divide sign, just like up here. So I'm going to add in the quotient. The next thing we want to do is we have a number minus 4. We want to do and, just like we did up on the first example. And we're going to add 5. We want to do the quotient first because we're going to be including this whole quantity here, x minus 4. So we want to start here, and this and will include this piece right here, a number minus 4. All right, let's go on to number 3. The number 3, we're not going to be translating or writing changing it to words. We're going to be combining like terms in it. So when we combine like terms, we want to combine things that are alike. If we look here, we have an x squared, and we're only looking at the coefficient. We want to look at the value of x. I have an x squared. I do not have another x squared over here. I'm going to put a box around it. I have a 3x, and I'm going to put a triangle, and 3x has one that is exactly like that, a minus 9x. They are alike. And then I have a plus 4 and a plus 1. They do not have an x term, a variable. So what I want to do is they are not alike. And I've marked an x squared, x, and then a constant, a number without a variable. When we look at this x term, here, a variable, it's squared. This is not the same as a regular x because of the squaring. It's totally different from it. So what I'm going to do is make a t-chart here. I want to have everything that's x squared here, x, and a number here. And I'm going to combine everything that is alike. So I'm going to put my 4x here, squared. I'm going to put my plus 3x. Now if you notice when I marked the plus and I marked the minus. And the reason that I did that is because this tells me what operation I need to do with it. If it has, because this number is in the front, it has no positive or negative in front of it, so that it doesn't have a term. And if it has no terms, it automatically is positive. If it was a negative number, it would have a negative sign. Here, it has a plus sign, so I want to put plus 3x. I'm going to put my other triangle, which is my minus 9x. I'm going to put minus 9. It tells me I want to minus it. Then I have a plus 1 and a plus 4 and a plus 1. So I'm going to put plus 4, plus 1. And I'm going to bring it all together. So I'm going to bring down my 4x squared. Then I'm going to combine my like terms and my x. So I'm going to focus just on these terms right here. 3 minus 9. Well, that's 6x. It's a negative because they're different signs, so my sign is negative. Then I'm going to do 4 plus 1, which is 5. I don't go any further. This is my answer. I can't go any further because this is an x squared, this is an x, and this is just a constant. With an expression like this, you might not be able to go any further than just that. And finally, we're going to wrap up with our last question, so I'm going to need to erase the board. And we're going to combine substitution and combining like terms to get an answer. So I'm going to write down our next problem on the board. And our next problem states a equals 3, b equals negative 2, c equals negative 6, negative 8a minus b minus negative 6c minus 2a. First thing, before you get started substituting in and solving, it's easiest just to combine like terms. Make sure you combine the like terms first, then substitute and solve. It makes it a lot easier. Combine your like terms. So we have, put a box around the a's. And if you see here, what's different from this example from the last one is this has first example had a positive 4x squared. This one has a negative 8a. It shows you that it's negative, so you know what operation you need to do. Here's plus or minus, what kind of number. Then we have b, so I'm going to put a triangle around my b, put the term in front of it, the plus or minus sign, and then finally I'm going to circle my negative minus sign and my negative 6c. So I'm going to make a t-chart again. So I'm going to start with my squares, my a's. Then next is my triangles, my b's. And finally, my circle, my c's. So I'm going to do negative 8a minus 2a. My b minus b. And my c, negative 6 minus negative 6c. And notice here that I have two negatives. And when you have two negatives, they become positive. So I'm going to bring down my terms. Two negatives I can add, same sign add. So negative 8 minus 2a is negative 10a. I bring down my minus b. Because I have a negative and a negative, it becomes positive 6c. Now I'm going to substitute in this term. And when I substitute in, that means that I'm actually going to be multiplying. So I'm going to do negative 10 times 3. I substitute in like as if you're substituting in a player or substituting in a teacher. You're going to be replacing a with another number. And because it's by the number 10, a and 10 together means multiply. Minus b. b means negative 2. As we stated before, two negatives together form a positive. And finally, we're going to put plus 6 times negative 6. So we're going to go and solve throughout. Negative 10 times 3 is negative 30. Plus 2. Plus, now I have 6 times negative 30, 6 times negative 6, which is negative 36. I can keep it as negative 36, or I can change it to a minus 36. That will be up to you. They both mean the same thing. You're going to just go through. You can do it in pieces. Negative 30 plus 2, different signs, subtract, so that's negative 28. Plus negative 36. Now I have same signs, add. So I'm going to bring it over here. I'll have a little bit more space. Negative 28 minus 36. Now they are the same signs. Because they are the same signs, I'm going to add it together. So I'm going to do 8 plus 6, which is 14, and the 1. And 2 plus 3 is 5 plus 1 is 64. I bring down my term, which is negative, so that means my answer is negative 64. And that will be your lesson on expressions.